Hi folks, this is Greg with Best Choice Trailers. Today we're going to take a walk around an Ironbull by Norstar TDP tilt Deckover. It's a pintle unit, also optional in the gooseneck model. Shown here is the 14,000 pound 22 foot, probably the most common size in the bumper pull. Also common would be a 24 foot gooseneck. It's a 14,000 pound rated trailer. Like this is going to weigh in around 4,800 empty. It's going to give you a net legal payload of about 92 plus tongue weight. Tongue weight on a trailer like this averages about 15% or 2,000 pounds, giving you a total legal payload of a little under 11,000, depending on how good you are at getting your weights equal on the axles. So I'm going to take you for a walk around this. This is a bone stock trailer. There are no added features to this that I need to point out. Everything you see here is going to be standard on this trailer. So we're going to start out up front. It's got a 6-hole adjustable coupler. Notice that is a Bulldog cast coupler. Bulldog makes your higher end stuff. Certainly other good cast couplers, but that one is one of the more expensive ones. They also do an integrated chain holder, kind of a neat idea. They do a 12K jack. The 12K jack here, that's nothing that's different than most in the industry. One thing that is different that I like much better is the placement. Instead of being back in the A-frame, they put it up front, something a guy can very easily get to. Instead of having to climb over or underneath the tongue, a guy can simply come to the driver's side, pull the handle, and use the jack. So while we're over on this side, we'll show you a couple other neat features. So more and more we're seeing 110 volt chargers standard. They do put the 110 volt charger on, but more importantly, what I want to show you is this right here. Most in the industry do not put a integrated voltmeter in. We like that. That's very important because this is a power up, power down hydraulic unit. You can easily tell because it's got 2 coils on the pump. So what's going to happen if you have a weak battery? It's going to open up one of those coils because that takes very little power, but it will not turn the motor. Without turning the motor, once the coil opens, gravity's going to take care of the rest. The bed's going to come down. It's going to push all the excess fluid into the reservoir. Instead of circulating fluid like a normal power up, power down, you're going to be acting like a gravity. The only problem at that point would be you don't have a reservoir the size of a gravity reservoir. It's going to overflow through the overflow or top fill cap. It's going to leave a mess in your toolbox. Next time you use it, you'll need about a quart or 2 of fluid. So again, this very simple voltmeter will save you some hassle potentially down the road. So also standard in here is an interstate battery. We've got a power up, power down hydraulic unit. We've got the integrated 110 volt charger. And another simple detail we really like on these trailers is the latch. Instead of the old school paddle latches that have been around forever, it's a new style design. Very simple, like it, easier to use. They also put a gas shock on the toolbox lid. Over the years, we've seen many different designs. The gas shock's probably the most simple. Very simply comes up, holds it in place, doesn't allow it to flip open to where you could destroy the toolbox lid like we often see. So very simple, but yet very effective. Mainframe on this, like many in the industry, is going to be an I-beam. They do an excellent job on gusseting out the top, bottom, and middle of the beam. Hoist type, we see a number of different ones in the industry. Some use a single ram toward the front. We've sold and still do sell some that use a scissor hoist, which for this size trailer is almost overkill, but certainly very effective. Here would be a dual ram, good compromise, very strong hoist, does what you need to do. It is, again, power up, power down. Bed cross members, as with most in the industry, are going to be 16 on center. We are starting to see more and more, though, that are fab steel. These here are structural channel. Trying to get you a good close-up of those. The structural channel is going to be a little stronger in fab steel. If you look at a cross-section of it, it's going to be stronger. Now, one significant difference on this trailer and why we really feel like this trailer really is a strong value overall would be the cross members. I'm trying to get you a good picture here. Try and clean that lens a little bit. So the cross member, or what I'll call the bed rail, is a 4-inch by 4-inch by 1/4 inch wall bed frame. In the industry, we see many different ones. I've seen 4-inch channels common. Some of the real heavy ones might use a 6-inch channel or 6-inch I-beam. Many don't use any bed sill. Of course, the bed sill is pretty important because that's roughly where your tires are going to go on the deck. So this is going to tie together your hoist, your cross member. It's going to give you support where your tires go. Very important. A 4" by 4" by 1/4" wall is unusually heavy duty. Tube steel, the benefit of it would be it'll keep that from twisting up, so it won't twist, hold everything nice and straight, give a lot of support to that area. That is an unusually heavy duty support system for this size trailer. Okay, you also see the gussets that are going between the header for the rams out to that as well to give it extra strength. Now the side rail is what we call where the cross members terminate. Side rail in the industry, we see channel and tube. Tube, of course, would be your heavier duty option, or what I would perceive to be your better option. This is a 6" tube side rail, not a 6" channel. Again, this is something that's a little better, I'll say, than industry standard, worth pointing out. They give you side steps on both sides. Oftentimes you would get one side step. They choose to give you both. They go with the round LED lights. Okay, another feature on these would be slipper spring suspension. A lot of times on 14K GVW trailers, you will get a slipper spring. They are also using a Dexter Axle. Dexter, of course, has the biggest or most predominant name in the industry. It's got the new forward adjusting brakes. It's got the easy lube hub so you can self-service your trailer. Standard would be a 235/80 R16 10-ply radial tire. Again, an industry standard there. One thing they do well that is not an industry standard, many on this, if you get a cheap one, they'll maybe do a stake pocket and a rub rail for tie downs. Most of your Texas built trailers will also throw in the chain spool or pipe spools. You very seldom see D-rings additionally. This has 4 different ways, actually 5. I'll show you the 5th one here now. These would be what are commonly referred to as like a banjo eye. You can put chain tie downs through those. 5 different tie downs, folks. A lot of times in the industry you're going to see 2 and quite often 3. 5 is pretty exceptional. That's very uncommon. Never seen one with 5 before. I've seen a few with 4, but never 5 different tie down points. Of course, they do the standard headache rack. They give you a handle on top of the headache rack to help get up. Diamond tread plate over the fenders, also pretty typical in these trailers. You got about 2 foot of tread plate at the rear tail. Probably the most common option that is not on this would be a spare tire, which we'll show you up front, but also a winch plate. We do a lot of winch plates on our Deckover tilts. This trailer is powder coated, as with all Ironbulls. Another little detail they do is the kick down on the end of the dove, so it comes to a pretty sharp edge, and then they kick it down on the tread plate at the rear. Another detail that we like on this, we've seen some interesting ideas for how to attach a spring light bar. We've seen some pretty not so great ideas. These guys here, the way they mount it, and you can't quite see it, the way we've got it, it's a lot better design than we've seen on some. Some will cut out cross members at the back, and there's very little structure at the back. These guys run cross members the whole way back, and they attach their spring mount light bar separately. Seen some very interesting ideas on spring light bars. These guys better than some that we've seen. So again, diamond tread plate over the wheel well area. Another thing that Ironbull does different, traditionally we've gotten away from some of the Texas tilts. We've had some customers in the past, I won't name names, that got some of these that were about a 17-degree angle, a little bit too steep. We sell a line called Shore Track, and now this Ironbull, they both slid the axles just a little bit farther forward. Of course, on a tilt, there's a fine line between angle and axle placement. You don't want an axle too far forward, of course. But these guys here are sitting at about a 15-degree load angle, which is a very doable angle. That's the same angle as most Deckovers. So again, about a 15-degree angle. A lot of your other Texas tilts are pushing 17. 17's too steep. I've had customers comment numerous times, 17 degrees on a wet day like today means you're gonna need to be winching things up. You can't drive it up. Some of our trailers too, depending on the cost, we'll put oak decking on to get a little bit rougher surface to have a little bit better chance at making that grade on a wet day. So again, this does come in other sizes. 22 is very common, 24 certainly common as well. Normally we'll go 2 foot longer or so on most goosenecks, just because you've got, you know, of course, the weight a little farther forward, and you also get a higher percentage of tongue weight, so you get a little more weight carrying capacity, so you can handle a little bit heavier trailer empty. So again, folks, this is Greg with Best Choice Trailers. I hope you enjoyed the walk around the trailer. If you have any questions, feel free to give us a ring, 717-220-4220, or you can always visit us on the web at bestchoicetrailers.com.